I'm going to let you use that on like a formula sheet. I'm going to let you write it down just so you don't like freak out on the test if you forget it. So here's how this works. We got to build up these ideas so then we can use them. What we're really doing here is like when we first invented the plus symbol, way back in time. Like, okay, plus. You know, they said, so what is 1 plus 1? They had to come up with what things were to see the pattern going on, right? So we're really at the basics of logic math, right? Of course, that doesn't help us out. That doesn't sound nice. But think about it. For or to be true, so if I said, you or you, clean up this room, do I really care which one does it? No. All I care about is that the room gets clean. So what's the only way the room doesn't get clean? Is if they're both false. You didn't do it and you didn't do it. What the hell? But, so now, I really want you guys with me. So if they both work on cleaning the room, isn't it true then? Yeah. Did you or you, did you clean the room? Yeah, you both did, so it's true. Overall, it's true. If one of them cleaned the room, still, it's true. Right? So if I said, for example, my name is Jeff, or I live on the moon. Right? We hear that in English a lot of times too. We say, well, either you do this, or I'm going to just throw you up in the air. And, you're not going to do the second thing. You're meaning do the damn thing, right? So as long as the first one's true, you're fine. The second one can be false. Right? The only way that an or can be false is if they're both false. So I'm going to develop these little phrases that will help you. An or is only false when they're both false. An or is only false when they're both false. An or is only false if they're both false. Okay, cool. So that is a phrase that pays. A phrase that you want to memorize. It's going to help you. So what do you guys think about?
Or is that and or?
Say again?
I thought it was conjunction, disjunction is false.
Sorry.
The way you said it was and or is only false.
No. And or. And or is only false. So what sucks is I want to be able to refer to or and. So I got to be careful about when I say the words and or. Right? So I got to be a little careful there. Yeah, and or is only false if they're both false. What about an and? If it said you and you, come with me. What's the only way I'm actually happy? What's the only way it's true? They both go. The minute one of them doesn't go, it's not happened. What I wanted to happen didn't happen, right? So an and is much more unforgiving, right? It says there's only one way to make it work. You and you both got to go. You both got to do this thing, right? So its truth table, can you imagine what its truth table would look like? Well, this has always got to be the same. True, 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 false. False, true, false, false. The reason that's always got to be the same is if you do a truth table and you do a truth table and you did it different ways, how can you know what the hell each other's talking about? You got to agree on the order, right? It must be that order. So what is the and going to look like then? What did we just say? It's only true if they're both true. It only makes sense. So you only put a T there. Everything else must be false. Cool.
Okay, so if it's or, so I'm thinking of drawing one simple table. This is if it's or, that's if it's and.
Beautiful.
So if it's or, then it's true, 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 false.
Beautiful. It's only false if they're both false. If it's and, it's only false. I mean, it's only true if they're both true. Right? So an and is only true if both true. Okay. How we doing? I'm sure some of you guys are going, damn, why did I sign up for this class? But hang in there. Come on now. Stay with me. Let's take some practice. What do we got next? We got conditional, right? The if-then. If you can make the letter I and F, there you go. If then. So if be then. So true, 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 false, false, true, false, false. So think about this. And we talked about this the other day, and I had that example that I think a lot of you guys kind of got was, if you make an A in this class, then I will buy you a car. Right?
I'm getting
You get to
an A.
choose the car?
Right?
But you did it.
And thankfully I said that was an example, not reality. Right? That's an example. I'm a teacher. I'm going to get you a little Mattel car. Because I did not say real car. So, that'll be funny. I'll give you guys a Mattel car.
That's fine.
What do you think about that statement? When is the only time you could really be angry then? What's the only time that, like, you're my son, and I say, son, that's not like I'm not Vader. I am your father. So, if you make an A in this class, then I will buy you a car. What's the only time you can validly be upset at me? The only time that I was being a jackass.
You didn't get him the car.
Yeah, if he got an A,
Yeah.
but I didn't give him a car, right? Which one, P or Q, is getting an A? P. If you get an A, then I'll buy you a car. So the only time you're upset, the only time that I was lying, the only time that that statement was false, is if P is true,
Zero, negative Q.
but the Q is false, right? You got your A, and I went, oh, I didn't get the A. Right? You guys see what I'm saying? That's why everything else here is true. The minute that you don't get an A, what can I do?
Not bother.
Or buy you a car. I can do whatever the hell I want to. That's why if the first one's false, I don't care what the other one is. The whole thing's fine. It's still true. I didn't lie. It was still true. I can do whatever the hell I want to then. You guys see what I'm saying? The only one where you would be angry that I would be a liar is this one. This would tell me that I'm a false person, right? Everything else is fine. Obviously, if they're both true, you got an A, here's your car, yay. Must be a very small car. Here. So that's fine. If the minute you don't do your end of the bargain, I can do whatever I want to, and so I'm still not a liar. Do you guys get that?
Yeah.
This is a weird way to try to explain it. Everybody has trouble with conditional very often, but that's the best way to think about it.
Okay, so if on the
You
conditional,
feeling better?
if it's
True
true,
in the real world.
Yeah, exactly. Good. So it's easy to remember.
if both are true, then it's true. If both are false, then it's false.
No? No? The minute that you don't hold up your end of the bargain, I can do whatever I want to, so I didn't lie. The only time I'm a liar is if true implies false. So,
Okay.
So the
and
only
if
time,
then is false if true implies false. TF.
So if P is true and Q is false, then it's false. If
Beautiful.
P is false and Q is true, then it's true.
Yes, so the only time it's false is when true implies false. Right? So you did your end, I didn't do my end. That's the one place it's false, right? So, and if then is false only when true implies false. True, false. How you guys doing? Okay, decent, decent, decent.
An if then is false only when
True implies false. You did your
Implies.
thing, I didn't follow up.
the word implies.
Yeah, I use the word implies a little loosely because an implication is only a true conditional, but screw it. We all know what implies means, right? So if true is trying to say a false statement, that's false. It's not going to work. So a biconditional, once we understand a conditional and we can live with it, a biconditional is just a conditional going both ways, right? So what about a biconditional then? So biconditional has to be an arrow going both ways. So not only does it have to work this way, it's got to work that way. So one of these here has to change for the biconditional. So obviously T implies F, no good. Everything else is good that way. What doesn't work this way now? You guys see what I'm saying? The biconditional's got to work both ways. Not just P goes to Q, but Q goes to P. This one wouldn't work then, right? Because if I look at it backwards, true implies false, no good. So let's look at what that would look like. If any of you guys are, you never know, you might not even be planning on this, but you might be able to go that way. Anybody interested in computers at all? None. Not even a little bit. All right, so you guys are like, sure, man, it does my Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that.
Pretty much. Like computer codes
Ramster.com,
and
yeah.
numbers on it? No.
That does, no, is that your homework for you? Now you know about it. Too late. Too bad. It doesn't really do homework for you, but anyway. So this one has got to work both ways. So true implies true, good. Look the other way. True implies true, good. Right? So we build this off of this. That's good. True implies false. It's dead already. Right? This has got to work both ways. True, false, true, good. True, false, bad. So it's false. It doesn't work both ways. So again, is everybody cool with this? True implies false, no good. A biconditional has to work both ways. So this is bad. This way is good, but what about this way?
No.
True, false, no good. Right? Yep.
So another way of thinking of it is like P and Q has to be true, true, and false, false.
Beautiful. So I'm coming up to the statement. This statement's nice. It's only true if they're both the same. Careful. It's only true if they're both the same. So you got 4 little statements that you have to memorize. As you do your homework, I would have those little statements sitting next to me if I were you. Can you have that on the test? No, but you might as well get used to it, right? You guys see what I'm saying? These little statements, the better you remember them, the easier these things will be. So this is true. All right, so what I want to do before I let you out of here, we're going to do at least one full-blown truth table, because these are just the building blocks. I want to show you what a true truth table will look like.
Okay, so if you're going in both directions, do you not have to have 2 sets of variables? So if there's a true for P, is there not a true for Q? So instead of, I see.
There already is.
No, I'm seeing, oh, I'm getting confused. Because I'm looking at your true, false, false, true under P, biconditional Q. I'm looking at those and thinking there should be another set beside them.
So what does this really mean? This really means this and this, right? Doesn't mean it's got to go P to Q and it's got to go Q to P. I don't need to make another thing because I already have P. I just need to look at it this way and this way.
Real quick, go through that again. Why is it true?
All right, so is everybody cool with true, true is true? Okay, so when I go look at the condition, the biconditional, I got to look true, true is good. What about this way? All right, true, true is still good. So it works both ways. True, false. Okay, dead already. Already dead. Don't even have to look the other way. What about this one? False, true is good. What about this way? True, false, no good. Didn't work both ways, that's false. Biconditional's got to work both ways.
No matter what it is, if it's true, false, it's false.
Yeah, so the statement I can make here is a biconditional
If both are true, then it's true. If both are false, then
is true
either one.
if both the same. Or you can say a biconditional is false if they're different, right? Whichever way, they mean the same thing, right? It's true if they're both the same, or it's false if they're different, right? Maybe. So again, how long have you known this?
5 minutes.
Yes, so give yourself a break that you don't already totally understand it, right? That's what I love about math class. Don't freak out if you don't understand this yet. You just heard about it. So let's do one complete truth table before I let you out of here. Say again? Do you have to memorize?
That when you show us.
No, you don't. No, sorry. These are the 4 building blocks what I showed you. Those are the ones you have to know the statements, right? Now we're going to use these in a true problem. So like, what's 3 plus 7? 10. So can't I use that fact in a larger problem? 6 squared divided by 7.